Good afternoon, good evening for those of you on the East Coast and Central Standard Time. I am here with friends. Um, but first, I want to introduce myself, and then we're going to jump into a beautiful Black women's conversation about choosing time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom. Y'all, come on. Come on through. You do not want to miss this conversation. We were chatting it up so good, I almost forgot to hit the live button. So we are
Mhm.
glad you are here. April, I see you in the chat. Thank you so much for joining. You have joined H&D Abroad. I am D. This is my Girlfriend Thursday. Um, but our channel is all about making the move abroad process a plan A for you to embrace a healthy lifestyle and for creating generational wealth. Not only wealth, a wealth of things for yourself, but to show by example and to pass something down to those family members and your community that's watching you do the thing. So if that is a part of what you want in your circle of influence, we invite you to like this video, share it with a friend, and subscribe. So I am not going to delay because these ladies are ready to share. I This theme is not mine. This theme is in support of Exodus Summit. Exodus Summit has been a game changer in my personal life experience, my personal development. It has connected me to people doing a thing. And so I thought, why not bring those change makers into this space so that you can see how these examples of not just I want to do it, but I'm doing it, and you can learn along the way. So I want to say thank you to Candace, who I've had before, to Diamond, who I've had on the channel before, and to Anita, who, y'all, I've been trying to track Anita down for months since we left Morocco. And she was like, yes, I'm available. So I want to give these ladies an opportunity to introduce themselves to you, not only who they are and how they move in the world, but also how they're funding it. So we can start with the financial freedom part of the conversation. How is financial freedom showing up for you? So why don't we start with Candace, then Anita, then Diamond. We'll just move around the Brady Bunch circle.
Okay, well, first of all, thank you for having me. Happy to be here. My name is, hi everyone else in the chat. My name is Candace Costin, and I am currently in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but I travel a lot. I met the ladies here in Morocco, but I've been in the Exodus Summit community for several years now. I am currently doing like a bop here and a bop there. I like to go and travel. When we met up in Morocco, I spent about a month in Morocco. As you know, Dee, I went to Spain. And so right now I've not left the United States. It's still my home base, but I like to do, a month or two in other places. So we'll obviously get into that. So I am an insurance agent. I have been helping folks with life insurance, Medicare, and long-term care and annuities for the past 13 years. Throughout some of that time, I did have a job, a career, but I just had to do what was best for me, and to make it simple, I quit that job. And so I'm able to do that by helping people plan for retirement through insurance. And I have some savings as well. And I have very minimal expenses as well. And I travel very budget friendly. So that's how I'm able to move around and have the freedom that I have.
All right. So I asked Candace to come on so that you guys get the diversity of experiences. So keeping the US as a home base,
Mhm.
is why I invited Candace into this, and she's younger than me, so I wanted that represented as well. All right, Anita.
Hi, I'm Anita, and some people know me as Global Granny because I am out here. I am out here. I am I guess I'm officially a senior nomad, sassy senior nomad. That's me. I Airbnb'd out my property. I am officially jubilada. I'm retired, and right now I'm in Mexico City. So I actually, Uncle Sam, pays me every month because I gave him money. He's giving me my money back now. So between Social Security and my pension and investments, I'm out. I'm doing what I want to do, where I want to do, how I want to do. So, man, I've been a part of Exodus Summit for a minute, and yeah, I met Candace, of course, in Cancun. Right, that was
Yeah, the
our
first
first
meetup.
in Cancun. Yeah, and then met you, Dee, in person in Morocco. That was fun, and I just been country dating. So I guess I'm doing the slow travel. I'm country dating because even though this one is good, the other one might be better. So I need to go and find out. Vibe is everything. You can say what you want on paper, but when you get there, like I said earlier, I was headed to Guanajuato. I am still in Mexico City a month later. What, 2 months later? Almost 2 months later.
Mhm.
So here I am. And then, of course, I went down to San Miguel to see some friends. But I, I'm going to be where I want to be. And I do have some plans of where I'm going to be, but you know me, I'm just going to be out doing it.
What I love that Anita says is, I say, what time are you? She said, baby, I'm retired. You can, she said, whenever.
Yeah.
That is the kind of life I aspire to. And I was just like, well, maybe Anita is a one off, but baby Diamond is putting me on blast on you. You are not elevating to your time freedom, ma'am. So Diamond, share with the people how you're moving in the travel and the freedom space for yourself.
Absolutely. Well, can you guys hear me okay? All
Yes.
right, good. Thank you so much for having me on this great panel. I am Diamond Crystal, also known as the Gallivanting Grandma. I love the Global Granny. I'm the Gallivanting Grandma, and I have been a part of the Exodus Summit for a few years now. And I am a global nomad, a five-star house sitter. I do not have a home base at all. And I do not have overhead expenses because I travel as a house sitter year round. So right now I am wrapping up my time here in the United States for 2023 before I set out again for these international streets. I did 2 months of house sitting with my granddaughter who turned 8 this summer, and we did parts of California and the majority of it in the Seattle, Washington area. And out of 8 weeks, I paid for a total of 4 days for accommodations with my granddaughter. So it is my way of saving money. It's my way of keeping my discretionary income at my discretion. I don't have to spend it on any kind of overhead. So this is a lifestyle that found me and I embrace it.
I
Nice.
I was hoping you'd give that one extra detail. Y'all,
What's
Diamond
that?
is out here not just doing this for herself. She is also sharing the secrets as a concierge for house sitting.
Yes.
You don't
Yes.
have to figure it out alone. You can do it in community, and you can do this with expert help. I know she's going to share a few examples of that, but
Yes.
it could be a little unnerving. I mean, I got out there this summer. I was just like, look, I'm new. This is literally in my bio. I'm new, but I like gardening, and that's what I want to do for you. And people started saying, yeah, and so, but you don't have to do these kinds of processes alone. So I know did you want to go ahead and share about that now, or you want to integrate it into?
Yeah. Why don't we piggyback on that right now? And thank you so much for that segue. I have been able, I'm self-retired. So I just turned 61 last month. So I'm not eligible yet for Uncle Sam to pay me back my money. So in the interim, I have taken the joy that I get from house sitting and turned it into a business. So I do consult with folks who want to be 5-star sitters, who have any type of anxiety, any questions, one-on-one consultation, and strategize on how to best use house sitting to accomplish your travel goals. So yes, that is my consultation business, and thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. So, I mean, what I love about this conversation is I will be the first to admit, and in my 20s, I said, I want to retire by 45. Why I said that time frame, no idea. Had no clue how to do it. I kind of had a strategy about paying off my student loan debts and, buying an affordable home, but like, how do you get traction with ideas that are just completely new? And then the Exodus Summit community found me, and it was just
Yes.
like, oh, we in there sharing. You don't even have to, like, it's literally like, oh, what you doing over there? And that is that is the share part. People are doing it. There's no, hey, I will bring you along, but if you want to know, you can find out. If you are motivated, that's all you need is the motivation. And so, what I'd like for us to roll into is, so where did you start? Because, where did, I mean, Candace, people your age are doing something different
Mhm.
than what you have centered in your life, and the same for each of the ladies on this panel. How did you choose the road less traveled?
Okay. Well, I've traveled my whole life. My parents always took us places. So traveling itself was never a new thing to me. I've traveled my entire life, been all around the country with my parents, my mom, my dad, mainly my mom. And then, I went to college out of state, then I lived in other places. I'm recently back in Pittsburgh where I'm from, right? And so, going through some hardships, coming back to Pittsburgh, I ended up getting a regular job, right? Again, I always sold insurance since 2010. So I ended up getting a regular job for a period of time and realizing that that's lame. It was not for me. We went through the pandemic, and I'm very thankful that, I had that stability there throughout the pandemic. But, you know, I YouTube recommends to you what it wants you to see. So again, Stephanie kept coming up in my YouTube, and hi Stephanie, I've told her this story. She kept coming up in my YouTube recommended, and I'm like, huh, huh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that I know insurance, right? I went to the Exodus Summit in 2020 or maybe 2021. That was like September 24th. Don't you know, I took a leave of absence from work October 1st.
Mhm.
And I was off for 3 months, and I needed the rest. I slept for the first, month. I slept, wake up, eat, sleep, repeat, right? So then I ended up going to Jamaica a couple of times. I had been to Jamaica. Jamaica is one of my favorite places on earth. So then I went back to work. We're still in the midst of the height of the pandemic. So then in 2022, I took another leave of absence. And literally my last day of work was May 31st. And I was in the airport headed to Mexico June 1st. And so I spent 2 months in Mexico, traveling all throughout Mexico. That's when obviously I met Anita at the first Exodus Summit meetup in Cancun. That was the second month of my 2 month traveling throughout Mexico. Then I went to Ghana, then I went to Houston, and just did some traveling around. And I realized that I was doing a little bit of healing while I was in Mexico, but it made me realize that maybe I don't want to leave the United States for good. And me being young, right? I'll be 37 here or 39 in a couple of weeks. And so realizing that I do have some things here in the United, some unfinished business here, right? And realizing that again, maybe I don't want to leave for good, right? Like I thought I wanted to. I just knew what I needed was to get away from that job that was tying me down and making me miserable and having to deal with all the things that we deal with in the workplace, right? And it just feels more restrictive. I still feel free, even though I'm sitting here in cold, rainy Pittsburgh, right? And then, doing traveling again, continuing to travel. And then I went to Morocco and we had a meetup. The meetups are just a few days, but I stayed, as you know, I stayed in Morocco for about a month. I also went to Spain, did some traveling. Now, that doesn't mean I'll change it, right? That doesn't mean I may decide I might want to move to Mexico City and I'll have a community of women that I can stay there for a while. But I just don't want to, I'm just trying to protect myself from loneliness. And that's a part of why I'm like, maybe I don't want to stay somewhere for a long time. And I have a tendency to isolate myself a little bit. So it's my own doing, right? So yeah, I realized that I want a country date, just like the Global Granny says. I want to date like we date men. Like, okay, am I feeling you? Is it a vibe? No, I'll see you later. Maybe I'll come back, So you're in Mexico City and I spent time in Mexico City and I liked Mexico City. So I might be coming back to see old boy. And as you guys know, it's no secret that I go on dates too when I'm in other countries to just see what the vibe is like with the men. So I enjoy doing that too. And I like all the different things. So yeah, I'm indecisive. I can't settle on one place. So I'm just going to come home, get the comforts of home until I get tired of it and then go bop some more.
I didn't realize how much our story, and I'm wondering if that's happened to each of you. I was looking for something, wasn't quite sure, and I'm not going to say YouTube helped, but it did. I mean, it brought forward, I wasn't even looking necessarily for Black women content. I was just looking for retirement solutions. And in looking for the retirement solutions, the whole idea of a sabbatical time away, was like, what? What? Don't only academics take
Right.
take sabbaticals? Sabbaticals are for me.
Yes.
And like I've shared this on the channel before. I called to get information and the lady said, how much time do you want? See, this is when you get in community and you're listening to people, you don't even realize my subconscious said 3 months. Wow. I wasn't even planning for that. It sounds like, Candace, that there was a domino. So once you had time to rest, then okay, so your planning, your process unfolded as you went along. It wasn't like I had this target and now I am, I'm acquiring, I'm doing all the things to get there. It's just like, okay, so I'm going to step into this space. Oh, okay. So now I can see new possibilities. So, and I'm saying these things because when I met Anita, first of all, my knees do not have enough grease to be doing the things Anita is able to do. She on the plane, y'all. We're on the plane, and Anita says her seatmate was asleep. She went over her.
Well,
this is what I see. You are taking very good care of yourself. And I don't know if your life before looked like that, but I'm guessing that that's one of the domino effects. So tell your story. How did you get to your freedom space?
Well, see, I have always traveled and liked to travel. So I've always been there. I've always taken cruises, even when I was younger, when I was in my 30s and 40s, I've always traveled. And the one thing that was really interesting was I always like, man, I wonder what it's like to live here. And I've always had that. But I'm at that age where you work, you get a job, you don't retire to 65, there ain't gonna be no Social Security. So, I'm 66. So I've had all that stuff that you guys, thank God, is breaking loose from, was bound. I was bound and didn't know it was bound till I'm free. Now it's like, look out world. But I've always wanted to travel, and it's really interesting. I was still working when I did the Exodus Summit. I was still working. And Stephanie made the comment about her story. I found Stephanie first because I wanted to travel and I wanted to stay longer. And it never dawned on me to stay for a month. I could actually I had 3 weeks vacation. I could have done it. Never dawned on me to do it because I had to hustle grind prep. Guilty. I was. Yeah. That's how we were raised. That's how we did it. That's how our mothers did it. What's wrong with you? What do you mean? So, you just tuck that away until you can get there. And when I found them, that was it. That when I found Stephanie's channel, she's a catalyst, right? She introduces everybody else. Oh, and you got to check Rashida. Oh, and you got to check Adelia. Yes. So, you follow that trail and you're like, And I can't remember which one talked about the number. And that's where my real freedom came in. I have always traveled, always wanted to stay longer. And then when I found out I could afford to do this now, because I was going to wait till 2024 January to retire. When you see your number, it is powerful. Yes. And I thought, okay, I could live off of what?
Yeah, it was probably
that notice. Yeah, it was a big difference. And now, where I've always wanted to go, was always in the back of my mind, it's all coming forward because the gravy train is at the station. Everybody get off. I've burned my cake. I'm not saving you. I'm not Superwoman. Nope. And I'm moving on, and I am dating one country after another country after another country to find my new landing spot. Now, the landing spot means that I'm not staying because I'm not a tree, I don't have any roots. I'm going to be moving, bopping around because I like change. I like different cultures, different languages. I want to see how you do it. So I am open. I'm very, very open. And it's just been fun. After we left Morocco, I went to Italy. I was going to go to Spain, but now I have this problem, with age. I can't do extreme heat anymore. Heat and humidity, I would be breaking out like crazy. So I pivoted because I always try to get that ticket so you can pivot. And I wound up in Italy for a couple of days. I wasn't feeling real well, but I was in Lake Como, beautiful view, loved the place. Oh my God, it was amazing. The food was good. I did go back to Italy this past my birthday. I did a 9-day Mediterranean cruise just because it was my birthday. And I decided when I was in Manta with the ladies of Manta, Ecuador, shout out to those ladies who are wonderful. I am not a beach person, but I tell you what, if you are a beach person, they have a heck of community. Those ladies are awesome, off the chain. So I went there, and I'm not a beach person, so I will not be, won't be Manta, won't be Panama, won't be any of those, Costa Rica, won't be none of that. I lived in Hawaii. I lived in Florida. I've lived a lot in places in the United States trying to find my spot. Mm-hmm. And I don't have that personality anymore. I'm an outdoor person, not a nature outdoor in the bushes, but just loving to be outside in the air, right? New architecture, love the trees. And that's what surprised me about Mexico City. On my way to Guanajuato, I stopped in Mexico City, hung out with my sis. Shocked me to see tree-lined streets everywhere.
Yes.
Mexico City. Yes. Yes. I'm looking around it. I was shocked. I was very, very shocked. Yeah. But Colombia's calling my name because the Andes Mountains are everywhere. Stirs my soul. Love it, love it, love it. So of course I'm headed back there in January. And I've been to Spain. I did the cruise thing, and to me, I need to go back to Italy and do a slow walk in Italy. Now that I've been there on a cruise, I'm going back. I'm getting my Italian a little bit, at least conversational, semi-conversational, survival, I'll say. But the world is there, right? And like I said, I country date. I can't commit at the moment. I can't commit. I can't commit.
And why should you when they're all willing to date you as
That's
well?
what I say. Some of this,
Right.
some of that, some of this, some of that. It's all good.
And what I do not hear is language is holding me back.
No.
Oh no.
No.
That you are choosing your countries strategically. You know, you are in beautiful places, but not there to. They are meeting the other requirements that you have around your money, around the people that you want to be with, and as you've developed your network of friendships, whether that is inside the Exodus Summit community or outside, it gives you the opportunity to see a place, but also to meet up with people that you know. And I'm saying that because Diamond has got me addicted now to, when I do a house sit, I'm going to call a meetup. I mean, it's just like, I'm here. Why not?
True,
I think
yeah.
you
All the
did
time.
one when you were in California.
Yep. I do it every place that I go because I think it's important for people to make that physical connection, right? We're Facebook friends. However, some of my best sister friends I've met them, through personal connections in the cities where I land. So to kind of give some backstory on how I got into global house sitting, I will say that representation matters. Had I not seen a video of Stephanie Perry, who was a brown woman who looked like me, age difference, yes, but seeing that as a possibility, I've told the story many times. My mother was battling stage 4 lung cancer when I discovered Stephanie on YouTube. So as I was accompanying my mom to her chemo treatments, it was my, okay, I can kind of escape and dream type of thing. And because I was her primary care provider during this time, I used house sitting as a respite. So when I got a weekend away, a 4-day reprieve, I would find a house sit someplace, within a few hours drive of my mom in South Carolina. And it rejuvenated me so I could come back and be the best caregiver and the best daughter in her last stages of life. So it really was the reprieve that I needed. And it offered me, I think you said earlier, Candace, just some wellness time. And then once my parents passed, and unfortunately that was 23 days within each other, cancer usually wins. So, mom lost that battle, but it was devastating when my father just 23 days later laid down and died. So now it's like, okay, what are you waiting for? Life is too short. It was an epiphany moment for me. I had already built up a local profile, a following on trusted house sitters. And I just took it to the next level. I was like, I need to get away. This is how I'm going to do it. I was finishing up a divorce. So it was all things in my life were changing. And I felt like it was just making room for this amazing opportunity. So I sold everything. I told my daughter when I went to Ecuador, and you mentioned Ecuador, that is my absolute happy place. You are right. That community there is second to none. Yeah. They really do set the standard for what a Facebook community should look like. Supportive, the whole nine. I spent 83 days in Manta, Ecuador, best time of my life, just healing. And then I started looking for that same sense of community every place I went. So when I went to Mexico, I was like, yo, I'm coming. Who's there? Let's get together. Give yourself a soft landing. So therefore, you don't feel like you're doing it alone. You don't have to figure it out. You don't want to necessarily eat every meal alone. So you've got that built-in sense of community. I did it when I went to Panama, Spain, Portugal. I was always reaching out. And I would encourage people to do that. Again, it creates that soft landing that makes you feel like, yes, I did this. And I have people, that's your tribe now.
I'm telling you, that is the difference maker. Go ahead.
Yeah. Even if you don't, because I went to Spain a couple times and I reached out to the community, I got crickets. Yeah. I still went. And I had a fabulous time. So please don't let that stop you because you
Right.
may not have community.
Mhm.
And I like Anita, so I'm good.
Yeah.
And there's
Yeah,
so much
yeah.
to do. There's so much to do in places like that, I mean,
Absolutely.
between the food and sightseeing and everything else, you just go. You go.
Yeah.
You just go.
Yeah,
And people will attract themselves to you around the world. I have so many
that's
friends,
right.
like the earthquake in Morocco. I immediately had to reach out to like so many people because people are
Mhm.
going to attract themselves to you around the world. It's a totally different mindset than wherever you're at in the United States or the
Right.
UK if you're watching from the UK. But I just wanted to touch really quick on something for the younger women. Like I said, I'll be 39 in a few weeks, and so I don't want the younger women to think that this is something that's very far away, because sometimes all you may need for a moment is 2 or 3 months to take care of yourself. So
Yeah.
don't be afraid to look in that employee handbook. Okay, don't be or if your job doesn't have one, like mine did not. I said, oh, y'all don't have a handbook. Oh, so that means
Golden opportunity.
I'm writing these rules now. When I was a contract specialist too, I'm like, all right. So, but for the younger people, don't be afraid to look into that employee handbook and review the benefits that you have and get that time off. Um,
Yeah.
I would not recommend you consult with HR before you do this. Only thing you're doing with HR is dropping off the paperwork, right? But don't be afraid to do your research on the benefits that you have and the things that your employer will provide to you. And sometimes all you need is 30, 60, or 90 days, right, to go and spend like I did. I went to Jamaica for a week, came back, and my therapist was like, you need a break. I said, oh, I need a break? I went back to Jamaica a week later for a month. Seriously. And then, I took a sabbatical again. Like I said, I went to Jamaica, or went to Ghana and Mexico. But you young people, young women, don't be afraid to take time off from work, save some money, take time off, and do a little bit of bopping, or sleeping and resting. Well,
Exactly.
Yes,
Exactly.
I'm looking into the nap ministry.
yeah, yeah,
For sure. You mentioned something that I wanted to make sure in this space as a HR professional. Look, you may have, depending on the size of your company, you may have FMLA available to you. Take some time, stack a few coins, as Diamond is showing. If you can feed yourself and maybe feed an animal, you could have free accommodations. If you don't have to have a lot to take a rest. Should you
FMLA is a
qualify
federal
for
benefit,
short term?
ladies.
Was that?
FMLA is a federal benefit. Google it.
Yes.
FMLA. The application's right there
Right.
in your Google. It's your fingertips away.
Right.
Exactly.
You do have,
Exactly.
your company does need to have
Yeah.
a certain number of employees to qualify. That's right. That's your level of, she's speaking from a level of expertise. I want to make sure that our audience knows that Candace is sharing from her experience. These are your handbook can open doors. I read in the Exo Summit community today, people are getting the summit tickets covered as a part of their professional development.
That's right. That's
That
right.
was the
Professional
newest
development.
flex. I was
That's
like,
love it.
awesome.
let me come a little bit closer. What did you say
I
now?
know,
Right.
right?
Right.
So
great.
what I'm saying is you don't have to have an original idea. Someone is probably living a part of their life could be a part of what helps you build the life. And you're just trying, you're even not just are you dating the countries, you're trying on like you would go to a Nordstrom's or a Riches from back in the day.
Absolutely.
You're going and
Right.
trying
Absolutely.
on, hey, my try on was okay. I took 3 months off. I did work a little bit part time, but I was just like, oh, I definitely need the space to figure out I'm working so hard. I don't even remember what it feels like to rest. So trying on a mini retirement. People are asking, well, how does that, what am I going to do? Am I going to be bored?
No.
Baby,
I
if you
haven't been.
think
I
you're going to be
haven't been
bored, that
at
means
all.
you have not had the time to yourself to figure it out.
Right.
That's right.
There are
That's right.
multiple paths to freedom. And so whether that is reclaiming your time. Now, I'm speaking as a mother I am speaking as a daughter. It's time to take our time back.
Yes.
We don't have to earn it.
No.
I took off yesterday.
Don't tell
In
me.
the
I don't think it's going to be a
middle of
secret after this
annual
video.
enrollment, I took off yesterday because my body demanded it. I would never take off. But all I kept hearing was, they will post your job tomorrow.
Yes.
I'm sorry, if what did they say? Your rec will be posted before your obituary is posted.
Mhm.
That
Mhm.
is true.
Most
And
definitely. Most definitely.
the other type of benefits that you may have, your short-term or your long-term disability benefits, you pay for that. Look,
Yes.
open
Right.
up your pay stub. You pay for it.
Right.
It's not free. You've been paying
Right.
for it. It's there if you are in a position where if you are disabled, right? Disabled comes in a wide range of wide definitions. If you have a need for a disability and a time off, baby, you better open up that employee portal and get that and print out that application and take it to your doctor.
Lean in, not just for medical people.
It's not just for
Yes,
medical.
sir.
Start getting
Right.
in with your EAP. Talk about the stress.
Yeah.
Talk about
Stress. Yes.
and say, could some time off be helpful to me?
Mm-hmm.
Could you provide the documentation that says I need to have a mental health break? I'm not telling you to make up things.
No,
but
it's already there.
I can tell you,
it's already there.
don't even recognize. I didn't recognize it. And I'm a wellness professional. I didn't recognize how exhausted I was, because it's like, what did they say? A frog in a pot of water that slowly, it's just incremental. You don't even recognize it.
Yeah.
The first 2 weeks I was sick. Like my body was just like, we've been waiting. And then what comes out of that is never again.
Yeah.
But it takes a while to unlearn it. So as we're talking about embracing time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom, like that, the financial, I think is a critical piece to understanding how to do it. Anita, it sounds like you are doing that in a look, I got a budget, I'm going to work in my budget.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I have money.
I have something else that will supplement my income that doesn't confine me to a place. So
one place.
Who wants to start by sharing how they are making this make dollars and cents?
I actually Airbnb up my property because a lot of people ask the question. My house is a duplex. It's in Galveston, Texas. And I have a tenant who was paying part of my mortgage. And I just Airbnb out the rest. It cuts my overhead down. So I don't have to pay that mortgage myself. Somebody else comes and rents my property. They pay my mortgage and the light bill and the gas bill. So it helps out. It reduces the amount of money I have to spend on that place. And it increases my ability to, do what I need to do. Thank God I've learned to do some investing early, and I socked away on my 401k. And of course, Uncle gives me my money back. It's not like, he's doing me a favor, he's giving my money back. But I do have a budget. I mean, I do have a budget that I stick to most of the time. Every once in a while, I'll treat myself and say, you know what, to me, from me, with love, we're doing this. But everybody's in a different place. But I raised my kids. I sacrificed. I did whatever I needed to do back then. And now it's all my turn, all my money. I may or may not spend all of it. But, it's there for me to enjoy since I sacrificed early for it. So, yeah, but I do stick to a reasonable budget.
Yeah. Well, I can say that when I decided that I was going to start house sitting full time and I purged everything and started life anew, I gave myself, and I don't mind telling you, $8,000. And this was almost 2 years ago. And I am still nibbling on that $8,000 nut simply because, I had planned and I knew I was going to do house sitting full time. So it's a matter of being strategic about where you're going, how much time you're going to spend there. I enjoy longer term sits. So before we got on camera, like I said, I had a house sit for 5.5 months in Chapala, Mexico. You know, if you don't have to pay rent or mortgage for 5 months, that's the epitome of winning, right?
Yes.
Now you have the flexibility, the freedom to figure out the other components. How am I going to use my intellectual property, right? My resident expert matter information from life to create an additional stream of income, or maybe two different streams of income. So that sit allowed me the flexibility to figure it all out. And so at the end of that, I was like, all right, fine. I think I have a formula, and you tweak the formula and you keep working at it. And I feel I will continue to do this until Uncle Sam starts paying me back my money. I'm jealous. I can't wait to get to 62, because I'm telling you, the minute I turn 62, you're going to start paying me back. I don't care what the
right. Get my money back.
Get my money back now. But you know, that all of that to say that you don't have to have 6 figures to do this. It's not necessary. As I said, you know, $8,000, that's not a lot of money, but it buys a lot of plane tickets, and it goes a long way when you don't have to pay for accommodations. So, you know, that is my strategy. It has been working for me. And I tell anybody, just give it a try. Try it on for size. You don't have to do it full time. But if you can, you know, stay someplace for 2-3 months and you don't have overhead, again, that's winning. That's money in your pocket, not somebody else's.
I'm not gonna lie, that house sitting is addictive, y'all.
It is.
Once I realized, my employer was like, you know, as long as you are still in the United States. And I was like, oh, so I can create these mini vacations. Even though I'm working in beautiful places, able to access things that I normally would not be able to afford. Is giving me, y'all, I was so mad I have to come back for a period of time, because you can look at your life, keep turning it. Your goal will fit in. Having a huge bank of PTO like my daddy did, like my dad had years of PTO, years.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, where they got to the point where they were like, use it or lose it. But he was in that grandfather group that got years of PTO brought forward. You know, that's not a flex, because you don't, if you don't use it, it's going to go somewhere, and it should go to you. You work for it.
Right.
And that's the biggest flex in life now, isn't it? Being able to do what you want to do, how you want to do it, when you want to do it, where you want to do it. That's the flex. The flex.
And that's my thing. You see it? I don't want to.
I don't have to.
That's right. And you can.
That's right. That's right. Because I want to. And no is a complete sentence.
I love
you
it.
know? So no, I don't want to, or yes, I'm doing it because. I had a sister girl who she hit me up on last Thursday, and she said, you know what? I've decided I'm not going to postpone joy anymore. And I said, well, what does that mean for you? And she said, I thought I was going to do Southeast Asia beginning of 2024. She said, but I did a thing today, Diamond. I said, what did you do, girl? She said, I booked a flight to Bali. I said, so when do you leave? She said, Friday. I was like, yes.
Wow.
I'm here for it. Go to Bali. And why are we postponing joy at this point in our lives? You know, figure it out, because everything is figure outable, is what I have come to discover, right?
Yes.
If you want to do it bad enough, if travel is something that is a passion,
it's a
find
priority.
a way to, it's a priority, and it's a passion for me. Find a way to make it work for your lifestyle.
Yeah.
Candace inspired me. So I couldn't figure it out. I could get from Marrakesh to up to past let's see, where did you catch the ferry?
I caught it in Tangier, Morocco, to Tarifa, Spain.
Once I got on the boat and got across, I couldn't figure out how to get to Sevilla. But y'all, Candace sent me video. She was like, I did
Mhm.
That's
it.
Mhm.
Life
wonderful.
is figure outable.
Mhm.
She's got
Yes, it
some
is.
Spanish skills and she figured it out. That confidence comes. You seem to be a pretty bold and confident person to me, but you had to have experiences that validated that in some way. I mean, like, did it come natural, or I mean, is this your natural thing?
Well, again, I've traveled a lot throughout life growing up. I've traveled a lot by myself because I'm not waiting on anybody, right? You wait to retire, you wait until you got this, you wait until you got enough money, you wait until this, and then one day you wake up dead, right? I know you don't wake up dead,
You
but
wake
No,
up
but yeah,
dead.
that's the thing.
You
so I'm
don't
not,
wake up.
It's the thing we say.
Yes,
so I,
yes.
True.
I'm not one to wait on people to do things with me, and I like things a particular way, and I can sort of you actually called me it earlier when it was just us, gone with the wind. I just sort of float and go along with however things take me. And you're no more in you're once you get on an airplane and leave the United States, you're safer. Most
Yes.
places, not 100% of the places around the world, right? But most places
Right.
that you want to go to, that's in your mind, that you want to visit, you're safer. So, I just, yeah, looked up the logistics and I'm like, what's the worst that can happen? Right. And I just made my way up and I knew that the transportation in a lot of countries is very good too. So I looked up the transportation,
Yes.
how to make my way up. I had slowly made my way up from Marrakesh to Tangier. And like I have some Spanish skills. So the Spanish helped me in Tangier, Morocco, right? While they speak Arabic and French in Morocco, but up in Tangier, the Spanish helped me, right? I was able to do my day-to-day things that I needed to do. And again, the internet is your friend, right? The internet, public transportation, and people are going to attract themselves to you and want to help you and be involved in what you're doing. And I never tell people that I'm alone. I never tell people, oh, my husband is, I'm not married, right? But my husband is back there, so and so's there. I never ever tell people that. So yeah, it's like, what's the worst that could happen? My mom used to make me mad because she would go places and not tell anybody stuff, right? And she said something to me that really hit me one day. And I'm like, you know what? That pissed me off, but you're right. She said, Candace, if something happens to me and I'm somewhere and you get a call that something happened to me, then that's where I was at. Like, Mom, why aren't you telling me where you're at? No, Candace, if something happens to me, you get a call, that's where I was. So, and it pissed me off, right? And then I thought to myself, well, I can die of stress and heartache and
Mm.
cold Pittsburgh weather and
Yeah.
dealing with the mess at work and my health failing because of it and the unhealthy food, access, no limited access to healthy food in the United States. Or I could die going out living my dream and being happy and joyful. And my
That
obituary
part.
say,
Yep.
we're sad she's gone, but she died doing what she loved.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly.
So that's just, and also it's just like, yeah, I'm scared. I be scared. I was scared of it all. I was scared to get on that ferry and go by myself. I was scared of all of it, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
scared.
it. That is what,
That's
if
very
there
true.
is lesson number one that I had to hear over and over again, to really believe people weren't just, this bold person. And I was in this community with people that had that kind of personality type, but like people that were more afraid than me were out there. Look, I'm scared. I'm doing it anyway. I
Do it
Yeah.
mean,
anyway.
and when you hear that enough, it's when I say community is important, when you hear that enough, when you hear people saying, I want to do this and I'm going to do it scared, like, you're not alone in trying, because either I'm going to do it and I'm going to be successful, I'm going to learn that's probably not how I should do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
So
And
And
my
I
thing is
always carry a knife.
always, oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
I always carry a knife with me. Now, I didn't take it to Morocco. I'm thankful I didn't because we had to put her bag to the metal detector to get out of the airport.
Yeah.
So I look it up first, but I generally always carry a knife. I never plan to use it. I never actually use it. I've used it on trips to, spread the mayo on my sandwich, cut the plastic down, right? But it's just a sense of security that I have, that I know that I have some protections of somebody's got me in the backseat of their car. I can defend myself. But also, like, nobody's kidnapping me. There's small dainty women who ain't paying attention out here. You don't want me. And no one has weapons. People aren't walking around with guns and stuff in other countries
Right.
like they are in
Right.
the United States. So that's another
Yeah.
thing too. The general public isn't as weaponized as we are here in the United States. And
So
again, if
true.
you live in Detroit, St. Louis, LA, what you talking about?
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
If we could survive here, we can survive anywhere. I mean, because
Yes.
if safety is at the top, and we're talking about doing things, even as a married woman, I'm doing things alone. And I have shared before. I mean, I have safety issues because of an unsafe thing that happened to me when I was in my late 20s. I mean, when you've been held up at gunpoint, you're like, I've experienced that before, and that can taint your views on being in places by yourself.
Mhm.
So, I have a little meter inside of me that says, I'm going to press, but this doesn't feel safe for me. I'm not telling you to push past
Yeah.
and be reckless,
Yeah.
but
Common
I'm
sense.
not going to miss
Just
out.
normal gut instincts, and like you would if you walk
Right.
out of the house. For most of us, it's getting dark. If we're in the United States, especially on the East Coast, the same instincts you're going to use when you walk out of the house right now are the same instincts you're going to use when you travel somewhere else. And I generally don't go outside at dark by myself when I'm traveling. So
Right.
until I got to Mexico, and I said, "Oh,
Baby, you're not in those streets, on those boulevards, those beautiful
Yes.
tree, enclosed boulevards down the middle of the street, eating your churro and cocoa
little
on
kids
a,
be out, pregnant women be out."
on
I
a
said,
weeknight
"Oh,
at
Right.
11 o'clock. You
Right.
are missing out on life. I'm
yes,
Right.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. And I think that, what you said, Candace, is so true. You use your instincts, but what I've found is that solo travel, particularly solo international travel, has been probably the most empowering thing that I could have ever done in my life.
yes,
Yes.
I spent the majority of my adult life married, so I understand where you're coming from. You always kind of had that covering, that built-in protection. And when I started traveling these international streets by myself, I was so empowered. And it
Mhm.
also forces you to trust your intuition, which
Yeah.
so many times, as Black women who are wearing all these hats that we wear, and if we're in a committed relationship with someone else, sometimes we don't trust our intuition as much as we should. And I've learned to lean into her because she has not steered me
Mhm.
wrong,
yeah,
Yeah.
and so then that's why I feel like I'm invincible. Like you said, if you can survive in the United States, you can survive almost anywhere in the world. I'm a New Yorker. So, my head stay on swivel anyway, because that's just the way I was brought up. But at the end of
Mhm.
the day, navigating uh, in Portugal and in Spain, the metro systems by myself and figuring it out, you trust your instincts, and then
mhm,
you're stronger the next time you go. And
right,
then that strength you can then share with others and
right,
encourage them. Like, listen, if I can do it, you can
Right.
definitely do it. Right. So it's all about encouragement.
You are making a good transition. I see both of you, Anita and Diamond, representing this life for the next generation.
yeah,
Um, Diamond's granddaughter is, I think we have all adopted her as our favorite house sitter under age 10.
Thank
But
you.
when I say you, when you look at Layla, the lifestyle she's being trained into
Yeah.
of I can be in a place, I can take care of myself, I can navigate things, I can make decisions, I am bold, I can speak up for myself.
Yes.
And that my grandmother may be away, but she's not distant from me. And Anita was the first to say, because I was like, well, what about your grand? She was like, baby, FaceTime, Zoom. I mean, like,
FaceTime.
we live in that
Yes.
best
Yeah,
We
technology
do.
life. Candace, I'm pretty sure you
Yes.
got family that's like, we just want to check and make sure you're okay. Hey, if the pandemic didn't teach us nothing, but the pandemonium was not an example, we can Zoom ourselves into
Yes.
insanity.
So
And
my
the
friend
Marco
said
Polo
something
works
to
too.
me. My
So
friend said something to me about a year ago, and it was something as basic as sending your kids off to college. She was like, "Why y'all crying? What y'all crying for? You just going off to college. We got FaceTime, we got Zoom. You paying that
exactly.
cell phone bill." And it was just as simple as going off to college.
right.
Like, we have all these things that, I got my first cell phone. I know I'm young, y'all, but in high school, cell phones wasn't a thing. So I got my first cell phone when I went to college. I'm from Pittsburgh. I went to North Carolina A&T. So that was when I got my first cell phone, because I was 600 miles away. And I remember getting my first text message. So all the stuff that we have now, it's like, what? Girl, get WhatsApp. If you
Easy.
don't get WhatsApp, and I'll
What's
holler
up?
at you here. Or you can come
That's
here
it.
and see me,
WhatsApp,
That's it.
Marco Polo, or exactly, come and see me.
or come and
I'll
see
let
me.
you know where I am. Just
Right.
check and make sure
Right.
make sure I'm still there, because you know me.
Right. Right.
That part.
But
I think like you said, Dee, I think it's very important that, we change the mindset of young folks, right?
Mhm.
And that's what I'm trying to do with my granddaughter. And I'll tell you a very quick story, which to me still, makes me laugh, because when I first started out on this adventure, and she was confused because during the pandemic, we were all together all the time, all the time. And that's how I got gallivanting, because my daughter was like, you ran away from home and you just gallivanting everywhere. And I'm like, I'm the gallivanting grandma, right? But my granddaughter did not understand. So she was like, Grandma, so where do you live? And I'm like, well, baby, I live in Mexico right now. She was like, come on, Grandma, where do you live? And I'm like, well, I don't have a home where I live anymore. And her whole face just dropped. And she said to me, she said, Grandma, she said, does that mean you're homeless? And I said, absolutely not. But see, change your mindset. I said, absolutely not. I said, you're on your tablet. I want you to put in the words global nomad, and I want you to read what the definition is. And as she looked it up and she started reading, her face just changed. The smile got bright. She said, oh man, Grandma, you live everywhere. Change the mindset. I'm
yeah.
not homeless. I live everywhere. Every place I go is home, because I carry home with me. So
Right.
I don't feel the need to, determine at this point in my journey that this one country is for me or that one place in the
Right.
country is for me. I
Right.
take my time and I'm slow matting. And like you
Mhm.
said, I'm dating countries,
There you
and
go.
see what's going to fit. But that's why I think it's important to expose my granddaughter to the totality of what this journey is, so that she can then think at some point, oh yeah, well, my grandma does it, I can do it. That's what
Yeah.
I want. I want her to take it and do it to the next level.
But even women our age are afraid. I remember, I mean, people in their 60s, they're just deathly afraid because they've
Yes.
been brainwashed very well,
Well, if
and
you
they
turn the
believe what
news
they
on
hear
every
and
morning,
see on the news. Yeah. And I travel alone. I don't travel with anyone. And when I went on my cruise, I was by myself. People were shocked, and it was like, "Oh my God, aren't you afraid?" And I was like, "Of what?" There's no market for sex trafficking for 66-year-old.
That
I'm
part.
just saying.
Baby, if there is, don't
And if
tell
there
me about
is,
it, because I'm out here.
and you know what? And if it
Right.
is, I might like it. So, scared of what? I don't understand what I was supposed to be scared of. And see, when I asked that question, what am I supposed to be afraid of? They paused for a minute before they answered. I'm thinking, you are from the west side of Chicago. You should be afraid to go to work.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
it was interesting. It's interesting how people perceive it. And then they want to sit down and talk to you. It's like, so I've had more people sit at my table when I was on a cruise because I was solo, and it becomes obvious that you're solo. So you really can't say, my girlfriend's in the room, my husband, because I was out and everybody saw me, and they were
right?
like,
Plus, you
So
know, you're out
it
in
was
these international
interesting.
streets. You don't want to block yourself. You want to date
That's
too. So I don't want my husband to be back in the room because I ain't got one. So I'm not trying to block me.
You about
he
to
might
block
be
your
on
blessing. That's
he
what's
might be on
yeah. You
he
can't do
might be on
that.
the
You can't
street.
block your blessing now.
He might be on the street. If you go to Italy, he might be on the street. I'm just saying.
Just saying. Just
Okay,
saying.
that's on my Greece and Italy are on my list because y'all keep talking about it. I watched both of your trips, Anita. Yeah, there's some places that I want to go. So what's creating the hunger?
For me,
So you have set the table.
Mhm.
You put your plates down. You all have your collard greens, your cornbread, your mashed potatoes. You know, your vegan cornbread because you know Anita and
Thank
I
you.
that's
Yes.
our
Right.
heart language.
That's
it.
right.
That's it.
That's right.
But you've sat down and you've ate a good meal. It's easy to sit back and say, okay, I've done that. What's refilling your plate since this is the table that you're setting for yourself of a life that embraces continued time freedom, continuous location freedom, continuous growing financial freedom.
I think everywhere is different. And that is one of the things I like about country dating, right? Every place is different. You're going to feel differently everywhere. And you're going to discover some stuff about yourself. And here's where I'm because I always ask, so what are we doing now, Anita? Where are we going to go? And it's interesting when I decide where I want to go next, because I do have my criteria. I have my things that are non-negotiables. Weather's non-negotiable. Walkability is non-negotiable. Everything else, maybe so. Vibe trumps everything. I found that out. And you discover how you move in the world. You don't discover how you move in the world if you're in one spot and get comfortable. You're just comfortable. And
Exactly.
I don't really want to be comfortable because I enjoy and it is a bit of a rush because you're scared as hell. You are. Because you get in a place, you don't know nobody, you know, and you got to go and use that survival Spanish to get what you need. So, you know, you do that and everywhere you go. And it's the whole curiosity of life that I have. I have a curiosity of life. And I am totally free for the first time in my entire life. So I am having a blast. I don't have any responsibility whatsoever except Anita. And I did try house sitting, but no, I don't like parking dogs. I don't want to take you anywhere. No, 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 no. So I am trying right now. It's all about me. It is all about me and how I want to move in the world or not.
Right.
So, it's just a different time, and it's exciting for me because I've never had that before. So I'm like a kid in a candy store, with a pocket full of money, unsupervised. So it's like, yeah. So you just go buck wild. You do whatever. So it's fun, and it's really fun out here. And I think people don't realize how much fun and freedom you have until you get away and you learn something about yourself. And it's funny because I was talking to a young lady a couple of days ago, and I don't know if I'm a city girl yet. I know I like being in a city, but am I really a city girl? I'm born and raised in the burbs of Chicago, but I went to play in the city because it was close by. Do I want to live in a city? I don't know. Do I want to live close to the city? I don't know. I'm not a country girl, that's for sure. But it's nice to have the freedom to even try these things out and find this stuff out.
To try
you
it
know?
on. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
You got to
try
try it
them on
on.
like a new pair of shoes, right? Those shoes look really cute. And I'm going to
Exactly.
try them on. But you know, you might
Exactly.
start walking for a week in those shoes and they hurt your feet real bad. And you like, I don't want to walk in
Exactly.
these shoes anymore.
Or you
And
might find another pair of shoes better.
that's
Better.
right. That's right. That's right. It's funny that you said about the city because I keep trying on different cities for size because I'm really not a city girl. And that's what I've discovered more and more in this portion of my journey is that I like to be city adjacent. You know, I'm a New Yorker, but I grew up in the suburbs of Long Island. So, you know, you hop the train, you go into the city, you enjoy it for as ever long you want to, and then you come back home to a little peace, quiet. And my non-negotiable is, you know, waterfront. And D, we tease all the time in the group, but my other non-negotiable when I'm house sitting is you gotta have a hot tub. Like,
You better have a
what do you mean
hot
you
tub,
ain't got no
baby.
hot tub?
You if you don't know,
I'm
I
trying to
doubted
tell you,
it.
I got to have it. So
And
you
now,
try on different things.
yeah,
And, like when you were a kid, maybe you didn't like broccoli. And now you eat broccoli at 60 and you like, oh, I kind of like broccoli. So
Right.
this gives you the freedom, the liberation to be able to try on different things at different stages in life. Because what you liked at 30 is not what I like at 60.
Yeah, right.
Mm.
Exactly. It's going to change.
And that's the
Change
flex.
every
That's the
7 years or
flex
so.
to be able to
Right.
figure it out.
try it again.
Try it all.
Try it
Yes.
again.
Try it again.
Candace, how are you
Right.
keeping? I mean, because now you like, maybe I like a glass of wine with my meal. I mean, like you're building
Exactly.
this beautiful experience. How is it evolving? Because you have a travel history, how do you, how are you integrating the newness, you know, to an experience where you feel, okay, so I've traveled. What's the next level?
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I have some non-negotiables like the ladies mentioned, access to fresh, healthy foods, warm weather. I think I'm beach adjacent. I don't think I'm a beach girl. But to answer your question, I mean, I'm at the point now where I want to get some more stable income, like some property. Like I have savings, I sell insurance, but I want to get something so that, like Anita, I can just
Duplex.
no. Don't ask me no questions, right? So I want to,
Right.
get some property here. I'm waiting on to save up some more to get some property to have a multi-unit, right? To Airbnb or rent, right? Something to pay the mortgage and also a little landing spot for me. When I come, I mean, I have a landing spot now, but just another spot. I don't know if I'm answering your question, but just continuing. Like I also realized that I don't want to travel anywhere where there's cold weather.
Right.
That was okay, but no,
Yeah.
but I also am learning as I get older. I don't know. Like I spent quite a bit of time in Quintana Roo, which is where Playa del Carmen and Cancun, all that is in Mexico. I don't know if I want the super hot weather either, right?
Mhm.
And so I also don't want to be somewhere where I feel invisible. I went through France a couple times, and I know people like France and parts of Europe, but I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so. I'm gonna keep going traveling to the black and brown countries for a little bit of time and get that out of my system, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
So
I mean, it's a huge world out there. So,
I've been to New Zealand.
I have just started taking nibbles and gobbling up, little bits at a time. And when I find a place that I really enjoy, then I can extend out. I can stay. And
I always book one ways.
that's the beauty of it, right? So when I went to Spain, I was in the Costa del Sol area. I had a house sit and it was beautiful. And I was like, well, I want to stay here for a little while before
Mhm.
I go into Barcelona and some other places. And I was able to do that. So you can try it on for as long as you want to and get immersed in that particular area, meet the locals, live like a local. I am not attracted to overly tourist spots at
Me neither.
all.
Yeah.
It's just I'm over it. I'm over it. I want to shop where y'all shop. Don't be sending me to the
Don't
mall.
send me.
I
Yeah,
don't want to go to the
Yeah.
mall.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm with you.
I've been all over the world. New
Yeah.
Zealand, Thailand, Cambodia, Africa, all over the world. My least favorite place is y'all's favorite place to go to, and that's Cancun.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember saying, I got to get the heck out of Cancun because it was too touristy, expensive. They wanted my money, and if I looked at you a certain way, you was asking me for
Right.
$20,
Right.
and not 50 pesos, not
They want dollars.
not 200 pesos, $20.
Yeah.
Dollars,
Right.
US
Right.
dollars. I don't want these
And that's
pesos.
the difference. That's right. That's the difference. So traveling as a vacationer which I think a lot of people, when they start their sabbaticals, that's an easy place to start, right? Because the resorts are there. It's still enough of their familiar. Let me just put it that way. When it comes to international travel, so
There's no hurdles.
it's
There's no
more
language
familiar. More familiar to be in those types of locations, but those are the least appealing to me at all. And that's why I kind of gravitate towards house sitting, because I'm in somebody's neighborhood
Yeah.
for an
In the
extended
grocery
amount of
store, you
time.
get fresh groceries on the next block. And
Yes.
Right.
located up right
part.
down there on the corner.
Right.
Now, got to get in the
Right.
car and go all the way to the grocery store, stand in line for 20 minutes just to get these tomatoes that taste. I didn't know I liked tomatoes as much as I did till I started traveling. I don't really like
How
tomatoes
about
in the
that?
United States.
Hmm.
Like, out of the United States, I said, oh, these tomatoes and these green peppers taste.
Yes.
They have
taste
taste.
good.
Yes.
They have
And
a
they
Yes.
have
a
taste.
This
Yes.
ketchup
Right.
is the bomb. Let me go ahead and get a couple and put it in my suitcase.
Anita
Yes.
That's
said,
right.
baby, you have not had dragon fruit until you have the yellow dragon fruit.
Baby.
Yes.
Columbia, you
I
gotta get the
found
yellow.
some and I
Game
was just like, where have
changer.
you been all my
See?
life? I mean, like, that is
Everywhere in Colombia.
this,
Everywhere.
what it's opening me up to. And I didn't realize I really leaned into it until I was in DC, and I was like, I love hearing diverse languages.
Yeah.
I may not know them, but just
Mhm.
hearing them inspires me. Being in country, I took 2 years of Spanish. When you get in Mexico, you want to use it because you
Yeah.
know it will broaden your experience.
Mhm.
True.
The taste, the sounds, the
Mhm.
smells.
Yes.
Yes.
House sitting has said, baby, there are all kind of ways you can live in this. There are some people living in this world. Do I want to pay for that? No. Do I want to know what it feels like to live on the 20th floor with beautiful views and rooftop gardens? And yeah, I can experience living in different ways. It doesn't have to be my life. And I'm so proud to see people doing that. As we are pulling all of these pieces together around Black women choosing, location freedom, time freedom, financial freedom, what does freedom mean to you? Like, if I want on my gravestone or in my obituary for people to say a thing about me that says I chose it for myself. It looked like I needed it to look. This world gave me, I didn't wait for it to come.
Mhm.
Yeah, I didn't wait for freedom to come to me, just like my ancestors didn't wait for freedom, baby. I mean, if we were waiting on affirmative action, look at where it is right now. If we were waiting on freedom, we have to take it with both hands.
Mhm.
What does freedom look like for Diamond, for Candace, for Anita?
That's an excellent question. And for me, I used to tease my father all the time. I said, my tombstone is going to be real easy. Just write on there, no coulda, shoulda, wouldas in my life, because I'm
Right.
going to do it. I'm not going to ever say, I could have done this, I should have done that. I would have done it if. I'm going to do it. So, that's what freedom is to me, the ability to cancel out any fears that you have. Not that you don't have them, but you put your faith in front of them. And that's my favorite hashtag. It's hashtag faith over fear. Once you start moving in that posture, then there's no coulda, shoulda, wouldas for me. And that's what freedom is. I don't have to say no to anything that appeals to me.
Yeah. I like that. Freedom means to me is my ability to do what I want, when I want, where I want, and how I want. That's really what it is. I can, and I can do that. So I'm living freedom right now. I live intentionally and without regret. I now say I love. It's wonderful being my age. I don't have a filter. I'm gonna tell you. Don't ask me if you don't want to know. I'm just saying. I'm gonna say it with love, but I'm gonna say it. And I like living my life that way with that level of freedom. I either, it's just, and it's nice. There's a nice way to say no, and there's a nice way to say, however you want to say it, but it's just, it feels good. And I wake up and I don't want to ever not say, I wake up with gratitude in my heart because I thank God every day. Because there are people that I went to school with, younger than me, the whole nine, that aren't here.
Same. I say that all the time. There's people who aren't here, and I'm young. Yeah,
exactly. And they're leaving young. That's the sad part. They're leaving young.
Right.
And so I would say, my freedom is definitely here. Now, that doesn't exempt me from not going to Exodus Summit because I support my girls anyway because they're my tribe, right? I may have location freedom and all that kind of freedom, but you never know what you're going to hear that will take you to the next level. Because I want to know, what don't I know now that I might want, that might help me going forward. So these young people can tell me some stuff. I'm listening. Tell me.
It's a learning process.
Yeah. So
it's good. For me, my freedom is, the obvious. Don't tell me what to do. Like, don't tell me what to do. And, this may resonate with some of the younger people who might be watching, but especially when it comes to jobs and stuff, it's just like, what I don't have to do? I don't have to follow rules that I have not broken. Because Karen keeps coming in here every day breaking this rule. And now you come in here and you want to call a meeting about and implement this rule that I have never broken. Right. So now I don't have to deal with y'all rules. I started doing my own hair and taking care of myself in the second grade. My mother worked swing shift. My dad ran a funeral home growing up. I got it. I really do have it. I've made it to this point without your rules. I don't need none of your rules. And then, we don't realize in the United States how many rules we're under, and how little freedom we actually do have. I'm telling y'all, we don't get out here in these international streets because there's a lot of freedom out there. It's a lot of freedom out there. I remember being in Ghana talking to some guys about some things. And I'm like, oh, this stuff y'all do, this standing outside, listening to the loud music at 2 a.m., enjoying yourself, minding your business.
Can't do that at home.
That's a $250 fine. They call that loitering.
Exactly.
So, freedom is don't tell me what to do, right? And I ain't following them rules that I ain't never broke. That was the biggest thing for me. Having to follow rules that I have never broken. So, because I don't
go ahead.
I don't like rules. I've always just done what I needed to do, done the right thing. I don't break the law. I ain't out here being crazy. So I don't like rules. And so, that's what freedom is to me. Rules. No, don't tell me what to do. And I'm not following these rules.
What I realized was that we have been, as a community, as a Black community, in the guise of survival. We were told during our enslaved time, we were cut off from things. We were punished for things. You think you're going along, and so we began to police ourselves, as I call it. We began under the guise of, I want you to be safe. We have sons. How do you stay safe? Follow the rules. If they say, when you get pulled over, they don't have to. We do it ourselves. When I realized I was taking my U.S. mindset somewhere else, I'm looking forward to beginning to realize that there are freedoms I haven't even imagined, that I could feel safe in what looked like alleys in Spain are streets, y'all.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yes.
are we supposed to be out here?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
grandparents and mothers with small children are playing in the park. I was like, what if my kids had had that
Yeah.
freedom to
Right.
be? I'm
Yeah.
just being in the world. I am not, my being is not a threat. I'm telling you, when Anita, you said something I have put in the Exodus Summit community, y'all. Be careful. Get these tickets. Yes, you are not ready for the kind of eye opening.
Yeah.
I went from, I'm going to retire at 67 because I didn't have a job that had a 401k. And, so I was just kind of thinking I'm going to have to work for a longer period of time, to you got a year for between last year and this year. And I was like, it's probably going to be less than that if I can make the numbers right. You will learn skills and you will begin to hear new things. Bring it.
Absolutely.
Stephanie, Rashida, Adelia, this community has brought me Candace, Anita, Diamond, servant teacher Nikki, April. People that are in this chat have given me something as a part of our in-person, virtual, WhatsApp, all of these, you're learning. Please put yourself in the learning mindset.
Yes.
If you think you have seen the whole internet, as that whole commercial used to, said, you haven't. You've got something to learn, and doesn't matter your age, your travel experience. I am so honored to be in community with people who are doing it scared, doing it with reasonable budgets. We not out here balling. There are women in the Exodus Summit, baby. They got it going. And I'm here for it. I'm cheering because I know they're cheering for me. So get in here, get your location freedom, grab that time freedom, maximize your financial freedom where you are, and then grow and learn. I always take a deep breath and honor the people who came before and the women in this space. I see nothing but joy. Even in struggle, I see joy. So thank you. Thank you for spending. Thank you, everyone in the chat, for spending time with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, y'all. That's
Appreciate
H&D Abroad. This is Dee on my Sister Circle Thursday.
All right.
Get out here in these streets.
Get out there.
Everybody's, what do you call that? How to follow them on Instagram is in the description of this video. I'm excited because if I'm excited about what I already know, baby, when I get a little bit more knowledge, you ain't gonna be able to tell me nothing.
Nothing.
Keep them rules
Live
over
your
that
joy.
way.
Live your joy. Thank you all so much. Thank you
so much.
Thank you, Stephanie Perry,
Thank
for
you.
being in the chat today.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you
Wonderful.
so much. Y'all have a beautiful rest of the day. We'll see you later.
You as well. Thank
bye,
you.
everyone.
Bye
Bye-bye.
for now.